Hello, everybody. Welcome to another edition of the MakeCode Arcade Advanced stream. I'm Richard. At Richard on the MakeCode forum.
I'm Joey at JWonderl on the MakeCode forum.
And I'm Vivian at LibCheerful on the MakeCode forums.
And do I sound okay to you guys?
You sound a little bit like windy, crunchy, but it's okay.
Yeah, right. My fan.
I don't think it's your. Maybe it's your fan.
Yeah. Is that better?
No. But it's okay. It's okay, Richard. Be comfortable. Be comfortable. Don't worry about it.
Okay.
Okay.
All right. So today we are working on. I still need to. I packed my headphones somewhere. The ones that I normally use to stream that make me sound better. And I have no idea where they are. So I still need to do that. All right, so we are working on our Loop Hero game today, which, reminder, is a game that none of us have played.
Yep. We could have fixed that
from
the last stream, but did not.
All right, hopefully this simulator will. What's going on? My computer's running slow because I'm sharing on Teams.
What's that new button in the top right corner?
This gear wheel, it's always been here, Joey.
Oh, really?
It's been here since the beginning. Yeah. Now, Joey's referring to the sign-in button. We just shipped a new feature called Sign In, where you can now sign into your Microsoft account, and you will get to be able to share, you get to save your projects across computers. They sync to your account. It's really neat, but I'm not using it today. All right, what's going on here?
It's messy here. Yeah.
Is it just that it's big?
Well, we're trying to figure out what it's upset about. One more thing is that if you don't have a Microsoft account, you can just make one out of your Google account, or lots of other things too, I'm sure. It's pretty easy.
It's true. Yeah, it seems like it's angry about something.
Is there anything in the console?
Let me check. You guys can't see my console, but I can see it. All right. Let's see. Cannot set drop down height. Main.ts. Cannot find name ARR.
ARR.
You made an array.
Yeah.
Yeah.
Hates
really, it's an array somewhere that's messing something up, but I don't know where. All right. Don't try this at home, folks. Well, first thing I'm going to do is I'm going to save my project, because when you're working on a really big blocks project, it's kind of dangerous to go to JavaScript. So it's a good idea to save a copy so that if something terrible goes wrong, you can bring it back. So I'm going to go to JavaScript now. We're gonna figure this out. Problems. Cannot find named R. Array.
Interesting.
That's a new one. All right, Jerry, can you file that? It's probably on me.
Yeah. I'll file it. You can add in the PNG that you saved later.
Yeah. All right. So what I'm going to do now is we're going to go back to blocks, and if it looks terrible, then we're going to figure something out. But for now, let's just go back to blocks and hopefully it's okay. All right, this is fun.
This is not the looking terrible Richard was talking about.
Yeah. All right, this seems okay.
Oh.
It'll probably just be fine if you just drag those out.
Yeah. But it's still not working. Oh my gosh.
Did it give you the same bug again?
Yeah, it did.
Okay.
This is weird. Oh man.
Did you?
We should do a different game for today.
Well, let me see where I'm making this array, and maybe we can figure it out just real quick. I don't want to give up just yet.
It's like when, you know, the advice they have for parents where, like, if you argue in front of your kids, you got to also make up in front of the kids. Otherwise, they'll never see it resolved. We gotta fix this project in front of the kids so they can see how we resolve conflict.
Yeah, Joey.
Mm-hmm.
Yeah.
All right, so we're gonna make this things we can make array, which was the one that was broken. We're gonna put down here. And if I remember correctly, things we can make is an array of sprites. So we're gonna just do a minus minus. We're gonna pull this out. We're gonna put this in here, and this will make it hopefully
Happy.
all right.
All right.
Nothing. Okay. Well, I guess we're working on a new game today. Sorry, folks. We just shipped a new update to Arcade, which is probably why this project broke. And this is going to be a good bug for us to look at later. So, yeah, let's do something else. Okay, so I have two ideas of what we can do. One, we can start working on an extension that I was planning on doing, which I can show off real quick. Or two, we can do a game. What do you guys think?
What's your extension idea?
All right, so I wanted to do a platformer extension. And so the idea was to just make it like super easy to make platformer games and have some blocks that are like nice and specific to platformers and get a lot of the stuff. So I've already defined all of the blocks. So here, I'll show you what they look like. I'm gonna go into here. We're gonna do test extension. And we got this platformer. And so we've got a few blocks going on. All right. So we've got a gravity section where you can set gravity, and this will set the gravity for all sprites. We have a set gravity for a specific sprite, which is for overriding this one. And then we have a set gravity direction. So you can say like, oh, it's down, or it's up, or it's right, or it's left. It's kind of fun. Next, we have this one, which is a control my sprite with speed. This is like the move with controller block, but it'll only do it in the X direction, or depending on the gravity direction, whichever direction is the right one to go in. We also have a jump block, jump 32 pixels. We have an is on ground. We have an is facing right or facing left. And then we have a little subset of the things from the character animations, which are useful for platformers. So walking left, walking right, jumping right, idle left, idle right. And if you just define one of these, it will do it in the opposite direction. Okay, now finally, we have some events, and these are the fun part, I think. So we have on sprite of kind player hits ground, and we also have ceiling, left wall, and right wall. So these are all the different, types of things you can collide with. We have on sprite of kind approaches ledge. So this one might take a little bit of explaining, but if you ever played old Mario games, you see there's like red Koopas, and they turn around when they get to the edge of whatever they're walking on. The idea is that this will fire when that happens. So you can do something like make it turn around, or make it do a jump, or make it stop and, hang off the edge. All sorts of things. And then this last one is easy to explain. On sprite of kind player lands on top of other sprite of kind player. So this is for doing the classic jump and, you hit him thing.
So for this extension, what do you need to still do?
I defined all of the blocks, but none of these do anything.
Oh.
Yeah. So I was like, I want all the blocks to show up, but they don't do anything.
I feel like it'd be fun to do it. I don't know, Joey. What do you think?
Yeah, I mean, this is an extension I was going to write myself, so I'm glad you're doing it. I like your events better than what I had thought of. We should talk with Kiki, too. She wanted this one.
Yeah. So if you guys think of anything that you want to show up in this, please let us know. But today it's going to be kind of a very advanced stream, just because we had that little unexpected mishap. So we're going to start working on this, and you're going to, last time we worked on an extension, we were going a lot into the internals, and some of that's going to happen today too, just so you know. And we're going to be doing it in JavaScript. So yeah, let's get started. But I think to start, let's make a test program. All right, so I'm going to go back over to here where I'm testing my extension. And we're going to put in some stuff to just test all these blocks out. So who's our hero going to be?
Cat?
Okay, let's do cat.
Cat is cute. You passed the cat.
Cat is cute. Where's
Stop.
cat?
There.
Where cat at? There it is. All right. So we're going to go ahead and create our cat protagonist. And let's go ahead and we're going to use like all of our blocks in this program. So we're going to go to here, we're going to do animations when we're walking left and walking right. So we're just going to go into gallery and we can just select our cat animations. Here we go. So this one's walking left. We'll duplicate this for walking right, and we're going to select the other one. Actually, I want to make it so it automatically does that, so we're not even going to do that. Boop. And then we also want to do some idle animations. So I'm going to make an idle animation real quick, and what that's going to be is I'm just going to, let's see, delete this frame, duplicate this frame, and make it so the tail swishes.
That means it's annoyed?
I think cats just do that. It's like their base state, you know?
Oh, okay. Sure.
It looks a little silly, but it's all right.
It kind of looks like a finger being like, no.
Yeah. Also, I don't like how the outline disappears, so I'm going to, let's see, I guess I'll just get rid of this frame.
We have a question in chat if they can have the link to the repo. Is it a repo yet?
It is a repo. Yeah, I don't know. When you guys grab it? It's on my GitHub.
Okay.
It's like Arcade Platformer, I think. There's not a lot of code in it. There's just the block definitions right now. But that can be useful to look at. Okay, so we're going to make this one idle left. We want to make it so that we control our characters. So we're going to do a control with speed 70. And we also want to make it so that we have gravity. So we're going to set our gravity to 500. Next, we're going to, inside of an on A button pressed, we're going to do a platformer jump blink pixels. So we're going to jump 32 pixels. Sounds good. And we're going to only do that if we are on the ground. All right. Next, let's go ahead and use some of our events. So we're going to do this approaches ledge one. So we just want to see if this is happening. So we're just going to put in some sprites. Say, I'm just going to say on sprite of kind player approaches ledge. They're going to say ledge. For 500 milliseconds. Next, we have this on hits wall in various directions. I'm not going to do that one yet because that one's just going to override this ledge one, and I think this ledge one's going to be more fun to code, so we'll do that one. And then finally, we have on sprite of kind player lands on top of other sprite of kind player. So we're going to want to create another sprite, which is going to be our enemy. So let's go ahead and do here. Should this be the dog?
No, we've villainized dogs enough. Make it a fish.
All right, it's a fish.
Okay. We need to make a pro dog game before we make another dog villain.
Yeah. All right, so we're going to name this my enemy. And what we're going to do now is we're going to make it so that when its on sprite of kind player lands on top of other sprite of kind enemy, then what we want to do, kind of what I was envisioning for this, is that we're just going to do a jump on our sprite. So you bounce off of them. All right. Now, the last thing we have to do is we need to give ourselves a tile map to work with. So we're going to create a tile map, put this in here. We're going to make it just the size of the screen. And we need to make sure we have all of these features that we're testing out. So let's go ahead and put in some ground. We need a platform. And this is so we can test our ledge code. And we need to go ahead and mark these as walls. So let's do that. All right. Now, and let me put it back on colored. Okay, so note, we are not falling. We are not moving. We are not saying ledge. We are not jumping. And that's because all of these blocks don't do anything yet. So let's make that happen. What's up, Vivian?
Oh no, we're having some debate in chat. Apparently repo isn't pronounced repo. It's supposed to be pronounced redpo. I'm having a hard time believing that.
I'm pretty sure it's pronounced repo. Sorry, folks.
I mean, it's repository, so.
So it should be repa.
Repa.
Pretty sure it's repository.
Is Home Depot, is the depot short for depository?
Yes, I think.
Really? Okay, then I'm...
Maybe. I have no idea, actually. A depository is a thing.
Is it? I would believe
Yeah.
it. Our banks...
I mean, a depot is just a depot, right? Like that's a thing.
It's not.
Is it just? It's not like a shortened version of anything.
I'm sure it's related, right? It's got the same like roots, right? But I didn't think it was.
All right. So let's talk a little bit about extensions. So what I'm going to do now is how I like to write my extensions is I put everything inside of a class. And this is really useful for something that we might not get into today, but this is useful for when you have like games that pause or games that do other things that might need to like stop everything that's happening. Because then you can use this state to like basically stop running everything that's running and then like bring it back. So I always like to do it like this. Maybe we'll get to that part today, but I don't know if we will. And so these things that I have that are defining blocks, all they're going to do is they're going to call these exact same functions, but it's going to be on our state. And so I'm actually going to just, let's see, we can leave these ones because these ones are just defining blocks, but I'm going to grab all of these ones. Except I don't need the enums. All right, we're going to copy all of these. We're going to go over to our state. We're going to paste. It's going to be very angry at us. We're going to change export function into public. And now it's happy with us.
Why'd you do that?
And we're going to get rid of all this. So when you're inside of a namespace, which we are, that's where you use export function because that'll make it so that other people can use your functions. When you're inside of a class, and you might have seen this in other programming languages like Java, you want to use public because that's just, I mean, that's just how they decided to make it in JavaScript and in most C-based languages.
Makes sense.
All right, and we're going to indent all of this. Okay. So we've got our functions now. Now we just need to go ahead and we're going to call these in our other one, but we need something to call these on. So I'm going to define our state for this. And for that, I'm just going to make a variable. So you may have seen in JavaScript before, if you looked at your code, how you could make a variable. And you can just do that inside of a namespace too. The nice thing about doing this is that it'll make it so that nobody outside the namespace can see it. I don't want anyone to use this except me. So I'm going to just declare it right here. And we're going to make it a new platformer state. And I'm going to change this later. But for now, we'll just do it like this. And I need to define a constructor because it's angry at me. What? Oh, okay. I see how it is.
What? How is it?
It's angry because I'm using it before I declared this class.
Oh.
So what we're actually going to do is we're gonna leave it like this. And what I wanted to do was I was going to make a function It's going to get my state. Just going to call it state. And we're going to say if not underscore state, then underscore state equals new platformer state. And then we're just going to return it. All right. So we're almost done with all of the kind of boilerplate stuff that isn't going to make a lot of sense. But once we've called this function in all of our places, then we can go and actually start implementing this stuff. Hopefully that'll be a bit easier to follow. All right, so what we're going to do now is we're going to, for each of these, we're going to call state. We're going to do set gravity and gravity. So we just went for all of our functions to call this function and just call the exact same function that we were doing before. And this will take me a sec. So you may have noticed, if you haven't seen an extension before in Arcade, that all of these things that I'm currently filling in are a lot of the blocks we were just looking at. And there's a reason for that. Every block inside of Arcade has a block inside of, has a function in JavaScript somewhere. And you can actually see it if you want. So if you click in this Explorer over here, you can click into these different files and you can look at the code that defines all of the blocks. So that's a fun thing to do if you're like looking at code, like looking at our mistakes. Except Joey. Joey doesn't make mistakes.
Sometimes. Just because I've had people very confused about it before, it's a very minor. There's like a handful of functions that won't show up there. Like the array functions won't show up in here, and keywords are the main one. Those basically it. But on start also just doesn't exist. That's just not a thing. It just kind of drops it in there. But yeah, almost everything will show up. And if it's not there, you probably can't deal with it anyway outside of actually editing TXT.
Yep. All right. Got 2 more to go.
Wait, Richard, did you say why we need like the state thing?
Yeah, so the reason I do it for this like this is just because it makes a few things easier. Mainly, it's like it lets me kind of encapsulate everything. So this is a word you use in programming sometimes where it's nice to make it so that other people can't use this stuff, right? Because I have like sprites that I'm tracking and numbers that I don't want them to change. I want them to call these functions to do it. And so by putting inside of the state thing, I can say like, haha, you can't access this. All you can do is call my functions. Yes, Vivian.
You called the wrong function in that one you just used.
Yeah, you're right. All right, we're done. Wait, are you mad? Oh, did I miss one?
Oh, was it like the last one before the other one?
Yeah. Yep, I missed one. All right. There we go. Okay. So I get to hide all of this stuff. All right. So let's start with an easy one, shall we? Let's do our gravity. All right. So I'm going to make something right here. And here's an example of something that I don't want people to touch, which is the current gravity. So
no leading some.
Yeah. There we go. I can write code. So we're going to make it so that when you call this set gravity, all we're going to do is we're going to set our gravity to equal that. Another thing we need to do, we need to set our current gravity direction. So let's do that.
Richard, is this what it's like to be you with this typing?
Yeah, I'm bad at typing.
I feel like you always do your C's as spaces.
I make a lot of mistakes. Please don't judge me too harshly.
No. I feel like this would be good if I was a detective. So you know how like typewriters have like their own like things, and certain kinds of brands like make mistakes in certain letters. This is how I'll tell if a note is typed by Richard, as if the C, instead of a C, there's a space.
Also, this is like in the mystery shows,
anytime...
like, this person draws a slash to their 0. That means they're the killer.
Exactly.
Yeah. So the other thing you should know about me is that I am bad at let's see, what is it?
Ampersands.
Like, no, I'm worse at typing when people are watching me type.
Oh, okay. Everybody close your eyes.
That's the thing, right? Yeah.
Yeah. All right. So, we're setting our gravity. We're setting our gravity direction. That's the easy stuff. So let's go now, and we need to do something. We need to make it so that whenever we create a sprite, it's affected by this gravity. And once we do this, we'll make it so that we can go over to here and we can see this happen. So the way I'm going to do this is by making a function that's going to be called update. So this update function, we want it to be called once per frame. So I'm actually going to go ahead right here. I'm going to make it so we register this. So to do that, I'm going to do this. And call this game currency and event context register frame handler. This is a load of nonsense, but basically what you need to know is that when you're calling game.onUpdate, you're kind of calling this function. This just says run one thing every frame, and always run this code. And that's what we want to do. We want to register a frame handler. We want it to run every frame. We want it to run our code. It takes in 2 arguments. The first one is a number, and this is the order where it runs. Higher numbers run last. And then there is a function, and that's what the code is going to run. So we're going to go ahead and put in just 10 for now, because I don't remember what a good number is. I know that there's a way to get it. I think it's like...
I think it's export on scene. And
yeah, scene dot... Here we go.
Priority right there. Update priorities.
Okay, so here are all the priorities of things that happen in our game engine, if you're ever curious. Joey wrote up a document, actually, that goes through all of this, because some people were asking. But let's see, where do we want this to run? I'm going to put it physics priority +1. And we can kind of decide later if this is right or not. But for now, this will just make it so it runs right after the physics engine runs. All right, and we're just going to call this.update. Okay, so what we need to do is we need to make it so that whenever you create a sprite, we're able to tell, we can tell if that sprite has been set the gravity on it yet or not. And we're going to do this in kind of a fun way. So what I'm going to do is I'm going to first get a list of all of our sprites. And the easiest way to do that is to do game.currentScene. I forget, did I make it so the physics engine exports this? No. All right, that's going into the next release. So you can do game.currentScene.allSprites. And this will get you all the sprites. There's kind of a problem here, though. These aren't actual sprites. These are sprite likes, which are things that can draw to the screen. So what we need to do is we need to turn this into a list of actual sprites. And the way we can do that is we can say actual sprites equals all sprite dot filter s. And we want to check to make sure that it has a property. Yay.
All sprites. I like that better.
What's up? Come on, click on.
You had to cast it?
Yeah. You cool with that? Yeah, cool. All right. Okay, so we're checking to make sure it's an actual sprite because only actual sprites have this data property. And this data is what we're actually going to use. So let's go ahead and do this. This is some nonsense. This should be easier. And so what I just said was I'm going to make it so that the physics engine, which actually keeps a list of all of the actual sprites, exports the list of sprites so that we can actually get it because it has it. We'll do that later, though. Okay. So for all of these sprites, we're going to use the data because so when we use sprite data, oh, I think we should probably do the thing. What time is it, guys?
It's time for arcade.
Arcade.
Sprite. Data.
Kind of. JavaScript edition. So when you call when you call data, or when you call set data inside of the sprite data extension, what you're actually doing is you're taking this little property on here called data, which is equal to just an object, and you're saying something on it is equal to something. So I'm just going to do like something, and we're going to say it equals whatever. There we go. So now if I wanted to like get this thing that I just made, I can do this. And this, it doesn't like this because, sorry, .data something. And this will return this string, whatever, because I just stored it on there. So this is a fun way to store properties, and this is how we actually store properties inside of the arcade sprite data. So I want to store a secret data that, again, only I really know about, but anyone could technically get. And it's going to be the data for this extension. And so I'm going to make a name that we're going to use. This is going to be our secret password to get our data. And we're going to say equals, what's a string nobody will ever type?
Rick Knoll _ arcade _ platformer.
That's boring, but fine.
That's how I name all mine.
And then the other thing I do is I put something on front that you can't put in a JavaScript identifier.
Good idea.
Yeah. Okay. So now we have this secret key that we're going to use. So I'm just going to put this data key right here. And as long as nobody types this weird string into their data, they're never going to run into a problem. So don't use this. It's mine. You hear that, everybody? This is mine. All right. So we're going to loop over all of our sprites now. We're going to do our classic for of loop. This is just like that green. Oh, man. See, I'm so much worse at typing when you guys are watching.
Richard, we're not looking. We're looking at something else out the window. You can't see it, but it's much cooler.
That's better, yeah.
Yeah, Don't worry about it. Nobody at home's watching either. They're coding.
Okay, so if they don't have this, that means that they are a new sprite that we haven't seen before. So what we're going to do is, if this is a new sprite that we have not seen before, we're going to do this, and we're going to say it's equal to something that we can put stuff in. So this curly, it's not going to do anything right now, but it's at least going to be something that's there, you know, so this won't run again. And we're going to put stuff in here later, but for now, we're just going to do curly. And now the other thing we want to do is we're going to say, okay, well, sprite, we got gravity. So we're going to set your AY, and we're going to set it to be whatever the gravity is. Okay. And right now we're not doing the direction, but let's just leave it like this. And let's head on over to our test program. See, do I need to retest it again?
I think you might have to push the button and then it updates. Not true?
Might have to push the button. All right, so we're gonna go over here. We're going to go into here. We're gonna click test again.
I think it should live update. But I'm not sure.
Really? So do I just have a bug in my program?
I mean, we'll see in a second, I guess.
Yeah, there we go.
No. Interesting.
Yeah.
Maybe you have a bug in the editor.
They're falling now. Woohoo! We made one block work.
Woo!
All right. So we got that. Let's do another thing to make this slightly less boring. We're going to do this control with speed. All right. So let's head back over to our code. We're going to go back to our state. We're going to do this control with speed. And what we're going to do is we're going to make a new little array, and this array is going to be our controlled sprites. And this is going to just be a list of sprites. And we want this to be defined. So inside of our constructor, we're going to say this.controlled sprites equals the empty array. Come on now. You know what I meant. All right. That's why I like blocks. Okay. So when you go ahead and do this control sprite, what we're going to do is we're going to say, all right, this.controlled sprites, we're going to add our sprite to you. The other thing we want to do is we're going to go ahead and do this data. So actually, I'm going to make a function for this. It's going to be like, no, it doesn't need to be on the class. All right, refactor. So called this get data for sprite. So this will just make it so that I can get the data from our sprite. And if it's not there, we're going to create it. So I'm going to get this data. And what I'm going to do is for this controlled sprite, I'm going to say like get data for sprite. And then I'm going to set something on it. So let's see. What should I call this? Control speed. And we're going to set it to the speed. Oh, did I return the wrong thing? There we go. All right. So we're setting our speed. It's not going to do anything yet, though. We need to actually use this. So we're going to make another function. This one's going to be called update controlled sprites. And we're going to loop over all of our controlled sprites now. And
we need parentheses after the, yeah.
Oh my gosh, guys.
You got this, Richard. You're doing great.
Okay, I'm doing my best.
Which is great.
We want to make it so that we control these sprites now. And so what we want to do is we're going to really only do something if either the left button is pressed or if the right button is pressed. So we're going to say if controller.left.is pressed. Then what we want to do is we want to set their velocity. So we're going to set their vy, vx equal to negative of the get data for sprite dot, what did I name it? Control speed. All right. Actually, we're going to do this a little bit different. So I'm actually going to do sprite.vx equals 0. And then we're going to do minus equals this speed. And then we're going to do controller.right is pressed. And we're going to do plus equals this speed. And this will make it so that if you press left and you press right, it's going to be 0. Okay, so let's just call this function now. So we're going to do update controlled sprites. And let's test it. Oop, oop. Nice. All right, so I press both, nothing happens. Press right, go right. Press left, I go left. We did it. We basically implemented that controller block that we're always doing.
Richard, you know what you're doing for this extension? You're like,
what?
This extension is like a doll, you know, like a regular everyday doll, and you're magic, and you're making it, you're blowing life into this doll. It's alive.
Mm-hmm. Yeah, it is alive. I'm Frankenstein, and you guys are my Igors.
I was gonna say I never read Frankenstein, but I did. And I guess I learned nothing about it.
I liked that book. It was a good book. That was like one of the books they made me read in high school where I was like, this is awesome. Vivian disagrees.
I just don't remember it, so I must have been uncultured.
All right, so next we want to make our jump work. So we're going to do a do jump, and we're going to do an is on ground. And so for is on ground, we're going to just write the code that we always write, which is hitting, is hitting, wait, is it scene dot is it tiles dot is?
I think it's on the sprite dot is hitting wall. Is that wrong?
Yeah. Oh, it's is hitting tile. That's a weird name for that. Okay, so we're gonna do that. All right. So I'm gonna assume this works fine. Let's go ahead and do our do jump. So we've taught you this. You know how to do a jump. You take the height, you take the gravity, you get an equation. We're going to say sprite.vy equals negative square root of 2 times height times gravity. I should have made you guys say it.
Oh, I could not recite that. Also, I didn't know you could just put a minus sign in the beginning to make it negative. That's wild.
Yeah, you can. Oh no, my code's not working. Oh, I didn't press test.
What a classic mistake. Me all the time.
Yeah, if we made extensions more often, I would make that a quarter, but we don't, so. Jump, 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 jump. Okay, so both of my blocks are working because I can press A and I jump, and I don't jump when I am in the air. And it looks like I'm jumping 32 pixels. I can tell because of how difficult it is to get up on the sledge because it's exactly 32 pixels. So let's make that 35 pixels, 3 pixels of wiggle room. Still kind of tough. Let's make it 40 pixels. Jump. This doesn't look like 40 pixels, does it?
This doesn't look like 40.
Oh, I'm changing the wrong one.
Okay.
You just got better at jumping.
Yeah, all right. Yeah, all right, 35 works well. And lots of wiggle room there. Cool, okay.
Oh, can you jump on that guy now? Oh.
No, we didn't do that one yet. Joey?
Oh, yeah.
All right. Okay, what do you guys want to do next?
I want to do that.
You want to do the on lands on top of? We do it.
Actually, that one might be pretty tedious because getting that collision right is
It's tough.
tedious.
There's going to be a lot of trial and error for me to figure that one out.
To get it right, we'll probably want to do something in the physics itself, I would guess.
That's what I was thinking. Yeah. I figure I could probably get something to kind of work for now. Something that's a little hacky, but to get it actually right, we probably want to do it in the physics engine. So.
What about the animations? Would that be hard?
Oh, that's not too hard. All right. So what we're going to do is we're going to do our animations. So we've defined our animations for when we're walking left. We've defined our animations for idle left. And now what we want to do is we want to make it so that those run at the right times. So we have 3 states that we care about: walking, jumping, and idle. So jumping is when we're off the ground. Walking is when we're on the ground. And idle is when we're not moving on the ground. So to do that, first we need to detect our direction. Luckily, that's easy to do. We're already doing it inside of our controller. So we're going to go back to our state. And what we want to do is we want to say which direction our sprite is facing. So they can either be facing left or they can be facing right. And the way we're going to define this is that we're going to use this get data for sprite just like we did before, and we're going to define facing left on them. So what we're going to do is I want to make sure that this is always defined. So we're going to go ahead and doesn't matter who you are, you're facing left. Aren't we all facing left when you think about it?
That's true.
Also facing right.
Unless if you're on the ocean, then you're facing starboard.
No idea what Joey's talking about. All right, so what we're going to do is we're going to get our data for sprite. We're going to set facing left to, actually, we can just set it to. So we want to change this to if the Vx does not equal 0, then we're going to set it to this less than. So why do we only do this when the Vx is not equal to 0? This is so that when we stop, we keep facing whichever direction we were facing before. So otherwise, if we didn't do this, we would just, whenever we stop moving, we'll start facing right because our Vx is equal to 0, and this is going to be false, so facing left will be false. So it's important to do this if sprite Vx does not equal 0. Okay, so we got that. Now let's go ahead and we're going to define our animation block. So first things first, we're going to go to our this animation function we have right here. We're going to say get data for sprite let's just make a little animation object. So we're going to go in here. We're going to say animation. And we're going to set it equal to curly curly. Okay, so we're going to take this animation. We're going to use our animation type as the key, and we're going to say equals, and we want to store the frames. We want to store the interval. Can I do this? Do we do shorthand property assignment? Nice.
I mean, yeah, it's just JavaScript. Yeah.
I didn't know if this was in the features
for us.
I didn't know if this was in the features we had implemented. Okay. So we're setting our animation right here. So what we want to do now is we want to update our animation. So to do that, we're going to go and we're going to make another function. This one's going to be called update animations. I think I should be able to get at least some of this working before we run out of time. All right. So what we're going to do is we're going to do for sprite. We need to get all of the actual sprites. So let's actually put this in a function.
We need to have like a refactor sound bit, you know?
Joey's our master composer.
True.
Joey?
What does refactoring sounds like? I mean, it feels like it should be like moving stuff around a factory floor, like books or like boxes. Just a dull screech, I guess. That doesn't feel like it goes together. But like, you know, when you're moving like a big box and it's got like a squeak, like a boxy squeak. But I don't think anybody wants that sound, so I don't really know what it should sound like other than that. Like, I don't think anybody wants to just hurt their ears.
Could you give me the debug sound real quick? I just want to jam out to that.
Beep, boop, beep, boop.
Oh, man. I can't believe you didn't get the Grammy for that one.
It's a hard one.
Even in the best editor debugging category, it's like, who is our competition? All right. Okay, Vivian, do you want to take a stab at this one? What's the refactor sound?
Okay, this is my musical concept. You have like a sounds like.
Wait, first. Get your clips ready, guys.
All right. My goodness. Okay, so you have a sound, it's like boo-doo-doo, and then you would move it up like maybe a fifth, like I don't know what a fifth is, like doo-doo-doo, and then we'll have like boo-doo-doo, and then we'll have it just up the octave. It'll be real cool.
All right.
Okay.
So, yeah, Joey, you gonna give it a shot? Go for it.
No, I have no idea what she was saying.
Oh.
Yeah, I believe it was boo boo boo, doo doo doo, boo boo boo, doo doo doo. Is that right?
Yeah, except I was thinking the third one would be more like a big arpeggio from the bottom in the right key up, and then you'll have Vivian, the final one.
You'll have to show it to us.
Yeah, I'll figure it out.
Go.
Oh, right now? Hold on. Okay, I'll turn on my
Yeah.
piano.
Oh wow, you have an actual piano there?
That's my concept. Could you hear my piano?
Not really.
Okay, that's fine. Hassan, welcome to our composing stream.
Hey, Hassan.
Ooh.
All right. What was I doing? Oh yeah. We're making an extension today, Hassan.
Awesome. What's the extension?
It's a platformer extension. It's an extension for making platformers. Yeah. So what we're going to do is we're going to go over all of our sprites. We're going to say if sprite dot, maybe I shouldn't actually define this animation for everyone, so that I only do this animation stuff if it has been defined. So let's go to our back to our animation function. There we go. All right. So if this sprite has an animation, so if sprite dot animation, and what we're going to do is we're going to figure out what their state is. Sorry. So if you remember, we have 6 states that we can be in. And those states are we facing left? We already have a function for that. Are we hitting the ground? We have a function for that too. And are we moving? That's easy to check. So what we're going to do is we're going to just write a little if statement here. So we're going to say if the, first let's check if we're facing left or facing right. So if this dot is facing, and then we're going to take sprite, and then we're going to do facing direction dot left. Okay, so if our sprite is facing left, did I implement this function? Oh, okay, whoops. All right, so if we're facing left, we want to check if we're facing left. Otherwise, we want to check if we're not facing left. So there we go. Implementing that function is easy. All right, and this is actually making me think that maybe the better way to do this is let's start with if we're on the ground. So is the sprite on the ground? Then we're going to say, no, actually, we should do facing. Okay, so if we're facing left and we're on the ground, and sprite of vx equals 0, then this is going to be idle left. Else walking left. All right. If we're not on the ground, then this is jumping left. All right. So now we just want to copy this. We want to put it inside of else here. And we now have all of these but for right. So we've got all of our cases now. We know exactly what state we're in. Man, I really was not consistent with my capitalization. Okay. So let's go ahead and actually do our animation now. So the way I'm going to do this is we want to set the image for our sprite. So we need to like count what frame we're currently on and get all of that going, but we don't have time for that. We're not going to do that right now. So what we're going to do instead is let's just define these walking left, idle right, walking right, and we're just going to set whatever the first frame is. So to do that, we're going to go into here, we're going to say if the sprite has this animation. So we say like this, so we don't have to keep writing this long thing each time. Okay, so if our animation state of animation type dot idle left, then we're going to do sprite dot set image to this dot frames of 0. Actually, maybe the easiest thing to do is to just run the animation function. There you go, cool. All right. So we're running our idle animation now. So what we're going to do for our idle right is the same thing. Well, actually, what we're going to do for all of these is the same thing. We're just going to change this animation type. So this one is walking left. This one is jumping left. Now this one's idle right. Walking right. Whoa, did I misspell this? Waking right.
Let's see. Is this gonna work right away?
It's gonna work for one direction.
But I thought when we did run image animation, it always starts over. So it's just going to be stuck on the first frame.
Oh yeah, it might not work. Let's see.
That's the difference between the old animations and the new ones that hasn't been resolved, I think.
I see.
So it's to track like what we currently are on, and then tell it to not only do it if it's changed. Ooh. Ooh, compiler error.
I haven't got one of those in a while.
I mean, there's not that much that we've done that are nested objects that non-class objects.
Yep.
Object literals. Blech.
Yep, that's probably what it is.
Eventually, for performance, we would definitely want to move this into a class anyway, so that's probably fine.
Yeah, I'm going to.
But we're out of time anyway.
Yeah, we're out of time. Okay, so I think I can fix this real quick if I just get rid of this animation state variable. At least I'm guessing that's what's going to be this bug. So we're going to try this real quick and then test it out. But in the meantime, let's do outros. I've been Richard. I'm Richard on the MakeCode Forum. Who will I be tomorrow?
I'm Hassan at Hassan on the MakeCode Forum. Dual Hassan tomorrow.
I'm Joey at J1 on the MakeCode Forum. I don't know. I'm somebody tomorrow.
And I'm Vivian at Live Truth on the MakeCode Forum. I'll be Hassan tomorrow.
Wait a minute.
You Hassans. Oh, all right.
Wow.
Actually, I'm pretty sure I know what the issue is. Pretty sure the issue is the array. I realized it as soon as I started typing it. But the thing that we're accessing any on any, and we're getting an array out of it. I think it doesn't like that. This right here.
So the class will fix that then. That's easy enough.
Yeah, the class will fix this. All right. Well, thanks for tuning in, everybody. We'll see you tomorrow, where we'll probably be working on a game and not this extension. But I am going to finish this extension up, and I will post it on the forum when I do. Alternatively, if you do want to see me work on this extension more, post it on the forum. Let us know, because I can keep working on it. But I'm guessing that today was kind of hard to follow, so maybe I only want to do this, sparingly. So anyway,